All right, so Forbidden Door, we did watch the pre-show because it was packed full of matches, but I'm just really quickly going to go over them. Fletcher beats Serpentico in 3 minutes with that cool brainbuster off the top turnbuckle, dropping.
Also, Fletcher lost the ROH TV
He
title to Atlantis Jr. of all people in CMLL, so that's bull.
And he's very blonde right now.
He's very blonde.
Then there was a 4-way, what can you say about the open, Fletcher match? He hit one cool move, it was over.
It was like a squash.
4-way tag team match, House of Black, Private Party, O'Reilly and Ishii and Kid and Strong. And commentary as this starts are telling us people are still filing in because there's plenty of empty seats and it's pretty quiet because it is the pre-show.
It is the pre-show, so yeah.
So they just... this is where, remember, Brody King almost died?
Yeah.
Ishii, they did the chasing the dragon, and Ishii couldn't really hold him and literally dropped him on his head, it looked like.
Goldberg, Saudi style. Kinda.
It was not good because Ishii was struggling to get him. Brody King's a monster of a dude, right? And Ishii's no spring chicken.
And my takeaway from this match was that House of Black have beef with Private Party because they were just murdering them.
Yeah, they were
Black
snug.
Need their faces off.
That's my next note is some of Malachi Black's knees are crazy.
Yeah, Private Party got murdered.
Nasty Gonzo bombed the Private Party.
Yeah.
That was for the win.
Didn't they take Dante's Inferno or no?
They teased it. I don't think they took it. I can't remember. I would have made note of it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would have been a notable. But anyways, I thought really fun, chaotic match. It was about 9 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy long, but I thought they did some good stuff.
I felt like this was one of those, guys, you're only getting 9 minutes, so get your stuff in, right? So I thought it was fun to watch.
House of Black getting a win, I'll appreciate.
Yeah, I went 3.25 stars just to rate. I do rate things sometimes. We had Statlander and Momo Watanabe, who I didn't know her at all.
Her name a bunch.
Versus Willow and Tam Nakano, who I did know, and I do enjoy Tam Nakano generally, or Nakano, I forget. All the pronunciations are changing on me, which is probably good because we're getting it right. But
I would agree with you, but
it's hard. The first few minutes...
I refuse to ever acknowledge Angelico.
Oh, my only notes are Tam Nakano hit a bunch of high-angle suplexes, including You Like the Hammerlock variation, I think.
The
she
Hammerlock
hit for the
German
win.
was pretty crazy looking,
yeah. That was for the win. The first few minutes of this bored me a bit. I thought things picked up. And
it took them some time to get into it, for sure.
It was quite good with a lot of big, cool-looking moves, right? I thought Tam Nakano stood out, but everyone else was good, too. I went 3.25 on that as well. Mariah May and Saraya. May dominates early until she misses the hip attack. And I said there's a very different pace to this match depending on who is in control. I wonder. Slows down to a stop
when May's in control.
When Saraya's in control, and looks pretty good when May's in control. Infinite elbows, I don't remember what I was referring to. It's been a week now. It's tough. Infinite elbows, May hip attack, Harley on the apron, Storm pulls her off, Paige Turner, but May grabs the ropes. Shirakawa and Storm interact on the stage with May in between. Surprising bridging pin by May for the win after about 8 minutes.
I don't even remember what that was.
May is cool, Saraya is not. The near fall with the rope break was pretty good. Some of May's stuff looks good. Match was fine, nothing more. 2.5 stars. Then we get the main event of the pre-show, if you will.
Easily the best match on the pre-show.
Yeah, things picked up in this one. It's Tsuji, who I honestly didn't think did a lot. Even though we're Tsuji fans, he's pretty invisible in this. Him. I do too. He just didn't get a showcase here.
Yeah, which annoys me.
Takahashi, who I like. Titan, who stood out in this, I thought.
Absolutely.
Versus Lucha Brothers and Mystico.
Which is a pretty big deal because Mystico's CMLL royalty and then Lucha Bros are big AAA guys.
Right.
So
it was worlds colliding here.
Yeah, it is a pretty big deal. Lucha Bros and when Andrade was here.
Not allowed to.
They weren't allowed to do Forbidden Door. So even though it's just the pre-show match, it's pretty cool and it'll be interesting to see how that factors in next year. If we'll see them in more prominent spots, if we'll see more stuff like this because I think Roosh CML or was Roosh AAA?
I can't remember.
I feel like he was AAA, I want to say, but I don't know because I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how that comes into play more often.
Yeah, it's they can really open it up to all kinds of because it's kind of got known for being New Japan AEW, but it could be more and more and more, right, as they go.
Which is I think the idea with the Wrestle Dynasty.
Stardom's there now, although they're New Japan technically.
The Wrestle Dynasty, after Wrestle Kingdom, which will be cool.
Yeah. So we were pumped for Tsuji again. I don't think he did a ton here. A few highlights: Phoenix and Teton start out fast with a DDT blocked at the last second by Phoenix. Then Penta and Tsuji face off. They go back and forth with no one really getting the upper hand. Takahashi Mystico next. The crowd is hyped for that interaction. LIJ, right? Is that who they are?
Yeah.
Nice.
They're Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Correct. They eventually double team Mystico, but the Lucha Brothers fight back. Ranas and dives by Tsuji and Titan to shift momentum back. Takahashi with a rough powerbomb off the apron to Mystico. Don't remember it now.
It was like he was trying to pull him down and then looked like he really splatted on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, rough, like good, though.
Right.
Like,
yeah, no, that's right. An awesome destroyer by Penta. DDT into a suplex throw into a crazy kick by Titan.
Oh, that was awesome. Titan did like a tornado DDT, then rolled right into like a gourd buster drop, and then super kicked Phoenix's mask off.
That's
pretty
amazing.
Much.
You remember all those details because I don't.
It was crazy.
And I thought
it
Phoenix
was so fluid, and like Phoenix looked
sold
like he
it
died
like crazy. Rather sudden La Mystica, and it's over in about 10 minutes. So I thought this picked up a ton in the final few minutes, and the stretch by Titan I thought was really impressive. He looked really good in this. Again, Tsuji wasn't featured, but Mystico was, I thought. Thought it was a lot of Mystico and Titan stood out here. Enjoyable match. I went 3.5 stars. Best show, as you said, on the pre-show. All right, now the show proper. A little bit of surprised by the choice of opener.
I was initially, but MJF's hometown, so
True.
I'm not as surprised.
So it is Hechicero taking on MJF. MJF crowd surfs on his way to the ring, I think it was. And the story of this and commentary reiterated is that MJF isn't taking this seriously. And he's like underestimating Hechicero, seems to be the story.
Dumb.
Here. So MJF's in control, culminating a running boot to Hechicero, who's sitting in a chair.
I thought he was going to like run and like fake out, but then he did like a full on.
Yeah.
Kicked his face off.
Looked good. MJF acknowledges the crowd on the way back in, and Hechicero snaps MJF's arm over the top to sort of shift momentum. So again, MJF's not following up as much as he could. He pays attention to the crowd instead of Hechicero, and it costs him. Heat Seekers countered into a cool dive. Don't remember. Bear hug spinning thing from Hechicero.
Oh, it's like where he has them in like the hammerlock and he like spins him around.
Yeah, I don't remember. I liked it. I don't remember details. Crazy high knee in the corner and a flare strut from Hechicero. Because I think MJF started out doing like flare struts and a few things to like legendary wrestlers. Like, again, not taking it seriously, right? So Hechicero, I thought, really picked up the heel mannerisms here because he's facing MJF in his hometown, right? So MJF is then selling his left arm. We get a sudden MJF pile driver, cool springboard drop kick by Hechicero, followed by the crazy transition into an armbar thing he does. Yeah. My notes are amazing.
It's
here.
Like the thing he like
professional stuff.
He like catapults them up and like catches them, and then it's so he did to Ospreay in that the gauntlet thing.
I don't know what he's doing, and that's a compliment to Hechicero because he does things different.
Confuses me greatly.
Brief salt to the earth from MJF. Another weird submission by Hechicero involving MJF's arms. I think he had them pulled back behind him somehow. Panama Sunrise by MJF, which they called something else. The Long Island, probably. Followed by a Brainbuster for the win here. I think it was about 10 minutes as well. Jack, I had to quote from you in the moment. Jack called this surprisingly straightforward and a little underwhelming. And in the moment, I think that is accurate. It didn't feel like the opener to a major pay-per-view to me.
It didn't feel like...
Felt pretty average.
Looked good, but it didn't feel like a major showcase for him. And MJF didn't feel like he was...
Both guys are good wrestlers, but it just was kind of there. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was pretty...
I think it's pretty adequate, yeah. Just because like, it wasn't bad by any means. It just like, it kind of... It could have been much better.
I agree. Brief elite video kind of mocking the Acclaimed and promoting themselves, obviously.
There was the one, it was like showing
it was a good package.
How they changed New Japan, and Kenny Omega's blurred out,
with
I
like a
voiceover,
really and Kenny's face blacked out on everything.
I thought it was pretty amusing. I liked it.
So that leads us to the Elite taking on the Acclaimed with Tanahashi. Scissor Ace, correct. Caster has a really strong rap that was extra long and then devolved into a series of bitches at the end, right?
Yeah, he just ended everyone with bitch at Okada, which I thought was pretty funny.
My first note regarding Okada, why is Okada's stoic face even funny? Like when he's not reacting to anything, it's still something about him, right? Tana starts out with Nick, and Tanahashi has clearly lost a couple steps, I think, although it's to be expected. He just looks kind of slow and clunky a little bit. Scissor me timbers to stacked up Bucks, so both of them, I guess. Heels isolate Caster, and Okada mocks Caster being a DJ, and it's freaking hilarious. And he does it again on Dynamite, kind of, right?
It was so... Well, Nick put on Caster's headphones, he's like, I can't... And then Okada's just like behind him, like DJing with like a mute face. And it was just...
he's such a good, like, prick.
He kills me every time.
He's hilarious.
I love him so much.
Bucks do some disrespectful mocking as they continue to dominate Caster. Then we get a Bowens hot tag, which is usually pretty good.
Bowens is a really good hot tag flurry.
Yeah, he looked good at that run. Included a sick right hand to Okada. Crops pops. I think it's crowd pops for Tanahashi and Okada facing off. They were sort of waiting for that a little bit. Tanahashi takes control to start. Series of run-ins and big moves leads to an arrival and a mic drop to Okada. Scramble on the floor delays the Tanahashi splash, and Okada gets his knees up. Okada hits an elbow drop to Tanahashi, but he delays before the Rainmaker and almost gets caught with a Rainmaker. Beautiful Okada drop kick. It is quite nice.
This is just, he just does it better.
Stops Tanahashi cold. A Rainmaker follows, and Okada pins Tanahashi, which is a pretty big deal. Billy Gunn comes out afterwards to prevent a heel attack after the match. I thought another good match, but
I enjoyed this one.
Kind of a lot of multi-person matches going on, so they're starting to feel similar and blend together for me.
Yeah, but I think they kept Tanahashi to a minimum, which was smart, and then I think everyone else played their roles really well.
I said entertaining, not amazing, far from prime Tanahashi, 3.25 stars.
I was about to say, yeah, it felt better than the opener for sure.
Kind of hoping the show starts to build from here. Yeah. And guess what? It does, because we get Shingo Takagi taking on Danielson in round 1 of the Owen Hart Cup, tournament.
Quarterfinals.
Sorry, quarterfinals is correct. Lots of tape on Danielson's shoulders and upper back, as it's still part of the story.
I think he's got some of those suction
taking
marks
the move
too.
From Ospreay that's now banned. What is that?
Tiger driver.
Storm
driver.
Right? So it's all Danielson to start with various holds. Shingo then takes... This is like the contrast to Styles, right? Because Shingo's just there to beat the hell out of this man with heavy strikes. Danielson hits a running clothesline. Danielson dive to the floor is caught, and Shingo hits a nasty draping, twisting DDT on the floor from the apron. Back in the ring, a very flat, as you would say, vertical suplex by Shingo Takagi.
It was like surprisingly flat.
Shingo keeps control, is super physical. Kick to the head from Danielson finally stops the Shingo onslaught. We get a low German and running drop kick to Shingo in the corner. Avalanche back suplex by Danielson. Danielson blocks some strikes and kicks and slaps on an armbar. I thought that was a cool sequence. Shingo counters something into a nice power slam. We get a big superplex and stiff sliding clothesline from Shingo. Danielson misses a corner kick. Shingo kills him with a running clothesline, followed by a nice made in Japan for a really good near fall.
That looked really good.
And I made a note here, but with stars beside it to indicate it didn't actually happen. This is where we were joking in the moment that Brie Bella's going to come down and throw in the towel for Danielson.
Yeah.
That did not happen. It made my notes, but it didn't happen. Sweet counter of another Shingo sliding clothesline attempt into an armbar by Danielson. Head kick and a regal plex by Danielson. Psycho knee for 2, and the crowd is on fire for this. Danielson with the stomps to the head that he does, and a triangle choke with elbow strikes as well. Shingo powers out as usual, but Daniels counters that into like the salt of the earth, and the referee stops the match. I thought a cool counter to a common move that no one else seems to do. It's that classic, they're going to pick you up for a power bomb, and he's ready for that and has a counter. And
that's happened like a million times.
Counters it into a finish. So I don't know. I pretty much love this match. I thought it was the ultimate technician in Danielson, and the physicality and just hard-hitting nature of Shingo worked really well together. The crowd got into this. And Danielson just creates this dramatic air to his matches somehow. And Shingo can make it look like a real fight with how snug he's laying stuff into Danielson.
Yeah, some of his stuff, like he just comes in really fast and like smashes you.
It looked like a cerebral technician taking on an ass kicker and looking for ways to counter it. And I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was fantastic.
Ooh, I don't think I enjoyed it as much. I'd go like, I'll be a little. I was like, I'm between 4 and 4.25. I'll go 4.25 just to be nice.
Fair enough.
I did like it. It was
really
good.
And
it
match.
was by far the best I've seen it out of Shingo, because I think mostly I've seen him in like the multi-man matches and whatnot. So.
Yeah, I enjoy Shingo quite a bit. He's just a little different. He's short but stocky, and he hits hard.
Yeah.
Then we move into our first women's match. It's the AEW Women's Championship match. Mina Shirakawa taking on Toni Storm here.
# we want Mina.
May is there first, so not really on anyone. Oh, okay, that's what that makes sense. She's already in the ring, right?
With flowers. That's like a stardom thing for the big title matches.
And a smart way to be like, she's not coming out with either one of them.
I like
she's
that, yeah.
stuck
I thought
in the
it would
middle.
either be that or like she'd come out with both of them, if that makes sense.
Right. So this is the whole story, right? Is whose side is May going to be on? So right away, we don't know. So Toni Storm's entrance, she's the Statue of Liberty briefly. That's her pay-per-view entrance, I guess.
New York.
Despite not being American, but yeah.
New
York coming up to the 4th of July. I get it. This is where my first note, Nigel's really annoying. I find him exhausting. And like the era for his type of heel announcer has passed by already. I feel like he's too much into it.
He wasn't like that in WWE though. It's weird.
Some people still really enjoy him. Like I was surprised John and Wei at Post Wrestling think he's great and should be doing All In. He bugs me. I don't know. Right after I typed that note about his commentary, Taz calls Nigel out on the human duplex line because Nigel said it was souffle, yeah. And Taz like, you don't even like listen. That's not what he said at all. Kind of, so I was like, nice, Taz. So Mina attacks Tony's knee, including a figure 4 on the post. Backstabber in the corner. Fisherman suplex turns the tide for Storm. Hip attack sends Mina to the floor at May's feet. Storm and May share a look. Storm misses a hip attack against the steps. High cross to the floor by Mina. Storm choke bomb out of the corner, and Mina's head bounces off the mat. Looked pretty good. Shirakawa back to the knee with a running drop kick. Some sort of electric chair slam thing. I wasn't quite sure what it was. This is where you're supposed to color that in for me.
I should know. There was something.
Electric chair slam thing, question mark. That's what we'll call it.
It does sound like something I would remember.
Diving avalanche DDT and an impaler by Shirakawa for quite some time. After she's up top for quite a bit. Storm snap German followed by a crazy hip attack for 2. Absolutely drilled the hip attack. Crazy looking pinning attempt thing by Mina for 2 that I don't know what it was. Rolling elbow, glamorous driver for a near fall. Some missed strikes, sudden short pile driver by Tony Storm for the win here. Storm picks up Mina. Mina extends her hand. They shake hands. May gets them to hug. So Mariah doesn't have to choose. All 3 of them kiss. Excalibur says that commentary
was it like someone was it Taz that was crying at that? Or no, it was Nigel I think was crying when they did that. Like,
oh, was he? And Excalibur says the commentary did the same thing in their pre-show meeting.
Oh yeah, that was really funny.
Out of nowhere.
That was awesome.
I thought this was really good. Really impressed with Shirakawa.
Yeah, super strong women's match. I think this is the second one in a row that Storm's like really killed it because the D one was really good too. Hard
hitting match, much like Danielson delivered, despite, for me at least, the winner being pretty obvious in both of those matches.
I don't think, and we always say it's not always a deal breaker.
No, it's not. Lots of crisp offense from both. Nice limb targeting by Shirakawa. I like this quite a bit. I went 3 3/4 stars.
I would agree with that. I don't think quite as good as the last match, but still really strong. And like, I'm glad at least, if nothing else, the women's matches deliver when they really need to.
I like both of them on this show.
Yeah,
so that's good news. Then we move into Zack Sabre Jr.,
Sabre,
who will be known as Sabre on our show almost always. If you're not an Office fan, figured out. We do know his name is Sabre.
I am fully aware.
We just
Believe
say
me,
Sabre.
as a detail guy, I'm fully aware.
Orange Cassidy is his opponent.
And he's wearing orange, much to Taz.
Taz owns that, has a trademark. Can't do that. He's trademarked like the color orange. Yeah.
Something like that.
So holds encounters to start, just as you would expect here with Sabre. Cassidy escapes to the floor. Cassidy kind of dances himself out of a chokehold. Remember that? He just kind of shimmies out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Sabre opens Cassidy's pockets for him, and Orange applies the submission instead.
Yeah, and the commentary made a point of like be talking about like the mind games.
Yes.
The typical mind games of Cassidy. I remember that being a really big thing with the Ospreay Cassidy match of the first Forbidden Door, was like Cassidy's usual demeanor and antics kind of got to Ospreay, and that's why he almost lost.
Right.
And so like Sabre's not like trying not to fall into that same trap, right?
And I said here, commentary
kind of playing into it.
Commentary talks about wrenching joints and Sabre definitely smoking joints. So I don't know where that came from. I guess Sabre's a pothead now.
Maybe he got some off of Riddle when he won that ugly ass belt.
Could be. More counters and reversals with Cassidy holding his own in sort of the technical style. Neck snap with the ankles gives Sabre the advantage.
I love when he does that. It's just like so simple.
The crowd responds too.
Every time too. It always gets a solid pop. So I think it looks really cool. It's just like, it's simple.
So here I have Sabre shifts through multiple submissions, some that make Jack question what he is seeing. Yeah, it's just like he does the thing where he doesn't hold any submission for longer than 6 seconds, and then he transitions to something else.
Like, what are you doing?
Like, what are we even seeing?
I don't understand what he
he's
does
incredible.
Sometimes. Yeah, they need to do more with him.
Mocking lazy kicks by Sabre before one big real kick.
He lays in some solid kicks when he actually tries. Yeah.
Low drop kick to the running Sabre, and Cassidy targets the knee now. Even a dive.
Because that'll kind of pare down Sabre and kind of even it out for him.
So he even dives as the ref is checking on Sabre on the floor, and then a dragon screw. So Orange is getting aggressive here, sort of like ramping things up.
You have to.
Every time Sabre tries to do something for a little bit here, Cassidy finds a way to go back to the knee, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
Michinoku driver by Cassidy for 2. Diving DDT nailed by Cassidy for 2. I thought it looked great.
Yeah, didn't Saber like kind of go like wooden board sell on that? Like,
Commentary call it tough to watch. That's the one where, Saber really sold that. Saber stomps Cassidy's arm to shift momentum. Very believable finger snapping by Saber. Like more realistic.
You could hear it, I think, right?
Cassidy back to the knee with strikes and a cloverleaf. Commentary say that Cassidy can't apply it quite right because his fingers are messed up, which I thought that was a good detail.
A good touch, yeah.
Beach break for 2. Mousetrap gets countered so cleanly by Saber into some crazy submission. Jack asks, "What did you do?" And it's over.
He had like Cassidy in this like, wasn't that like the modified armbar or whatever or something like that? No, because he had the modified armbar, then he like crossed Cassie's legs. He's got literally, and like, what do you do there?
You can't do anything. You can't get out of it.
It was like he's tying up every little bit. Like he's grabbed his arm, then his legs are almost to the ropes. He grabs both his legs.
Every limb is occupied,
and it's like his neck's twisted. Like I'm like, what do you do there? You can't.
And so just as you say that, it is over.
What could you possibly do in that situation?
So 16 minutes this went. I thought really good technical match. I really loved
it. Yeah,
steady pace, lots of cool submissions and counters. I wasn't sure Cassidy's taking a beating style would work as well with a submission style guy, but I thought
they did it really well, and I think like giving Cassidy that opening with targeting Saber's leg kind of helped even it out and allowed him to get more into.
And it's a reminder, like Orange Cassidy is a really talented wrestler. Like gimmick aside, say what you want about it, and I was skeptical about it. The guy can go, man. Like he held his own with Saber here.
And he still had that title run, which was amazing.
And Saber always shows us submissions that we feel like we've never seen. Like so many in succession, we don't even know what we're watching. I couldn't even tell you what he won with
because I have zero clue.
Right. Really good match. I went 4 stars with this. I thought this was pretty terrific.
I'd put at least on par with the Danielson match, so I'll give it 4.25.
And if you're new,
I liked it a lot.
If you're new to us, we seem to be a little harsher in ratings. We're not quite so free to give out.
I try not to go too far.
There's not a lot for me above 4.5 in this world, because I save that 4.75 and 5 is like special stuff to me.
Ospreay,
but anyways, so next match we get Hook, Joe, and Shibata taking on the Learning Tree,
which is Jericho, large man, and the big Hawaiian guy with
Jeff
the
Cobb,
ugliest belt I've ever seen.
Is in the Learning Tree.
I think it's because, and I thought it was weird too, but I remember like he's been a regular ringer for Jericho, like dating back to 2020. So
always happy.
It does make sense. Yeah, not when he's carrying that ugly rectangle he has to wear around his waist.
And I don't think you got a tour of the islands, did you?
No, we did get his goofy looking moonsault though.
Yes,
goofy in a nice way, because it's just like, what are you doing?
Jericho speaks before the match briefly, and Jack is annoyed.
Like, it's a pay-per-view. You don't have to speak.
No. Bill boot flattens Shibata early on.
Bill's bringing back the trunks for the Learning Tree. It's interesting.
Shibata then Hook work over Jericho after doing the Samoa Joe dodge. Jericho tags in Cobb to get away from Hook. Hook tags Joe. People seem to want to see Joe and Cobb. Just a couple.
How could you not?
Hosses in there.
I would love to see that as like a singles match on any week ever.
Joe works over Cobb for a bit before getting caught and slammed. Cobb tags in Big Bill. A Keith distraction allows Cobb to stop a Hook streak of offense.
You mean Bad Apple?
Right, the Bad Apple. The heels then isolate Hook. The crowd is pretty dead in the middle of this as the heels are in control. Cobb hits his standing moonsault and Jack is pleased.
It just makes me chuckle every time. Like, he has no business looking so graceful.
He doesn't. It's crazy. Shibata lukewarm tag before a triple team of Cobb ending with a Shibata hesitation dropkick.
Yeah, Hook, I like that little corner floor they did, because I think they did it on Dynamite too. And
it's good.
It's nice.
Hook T-bone to Cobb. And then my next thing says, add notes here or don't, pizza time. I was making a pizza. So there's nothing there. Hook hits the Judas effect for the win.
He did it better than Jericho, too. Everyone does it better than Jericho.
Everyone does.
He does it better. Andrade does it better. Dar does it better. Nick Jackson did it better once.
It's definitely...
Everyone does it better.
Jericho's not good at his own finisher.
Yeah.
That's another problem.
Yeah.
I thought this was a fine trios match, a notch below several Dynamite matches recently, I thought.
Yeah. It wasn't
its place on this card didn't feel necessary.
It didn't feel like it needed to be here,
Agreed.
But like... It didn't feel like a complete waste of time, so it was fine. We didn't pick that one even because I think it was announced too late.
So Hook getting the clean pin on Jericho was nice, but does
that.
Winning with Jericho's mean this continues? And the answer is yes, because Jericho
100%.
Specifically refers to that on Dynamite, right? I gave this 3 stars. I thought it was kind of ordinary.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
3 stars isn't bad. It's just like it's average for me.
Yeah, I was just trying to think if it was better than the opener, and I was like, not really.
Not really. Then we get bit of a car crash in the TNT Championship ladder match.
Because rooting for my boy.
Right. Perry enters in a big old goat mask.
He did that in Japan too when he was doing Scapegoat there.
Right.
So I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Perry, Rush, Mark Briscoe, Takeshita, Dante Martin, Perry, I think I already said, and then ELP.
Right. Yeah, I didn't go over who was even in it. Probably a good idea. So immediate Takeshita forearm to Perry.
Yeah.
And so Perry's kind of out for a minute, and the rest of them go after Takeshita.
Because he's the biggest threat, guys.
And one of the takeaways in this is the crowd wants Takeshita. So
yeah, no, it wasn't just me.
And I think they want him as a babyface, and they want him as a major player.
I like him better as a heel.
I think the reaction he's getting indicates maybe babyface.
I mean, I did like him as a babyface, but at the same time, he's like, I feel like him with Callis is just so much better.
I think the Callis family's kind of run its course, but maybe he can stay with Callis. I don't know.
I'd prefer him to, but either way, I think Takeshita deserves better. But yeah, like every time Takeshita was getting close, people were going nuts.
People, like, it's not just us.
It made me happy because we've been big supporters of Takeshita, like literally since the moment I first watched him.
Well, because every match, point to a match that hasn't been like very good to
the Sting
fantastic match. Okay, maybe, but
and
every matchup seems fresh, and he's just a believable.
But he's just explosive too. Like ever since the first time we saw him against Hangman, I'll never forget that match.
He's amazing.
That was like the Tyler Rust match for me, except Tyler Rust disappeared.
He did.
But yeah, no, Takeshi's amazing, and like he was at the center of most of the big spots in this match.
And the crowd loves him, as they should.
I love him. I've always loved him.
4 guys get ladders and throw them at each other early on.
That was kind of funny.
Chaos on the floor early, and Briscoe gets a table already. I was just going to say Roosh. Leo Rush.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is like the different pronunciations of things. It's a bad habit. I don't remember what it was either, but I did say Roosh, and it was not that. And I think it's anytime I see a Rush t-shirt, like the band, and I'm like, Roosh. I think Roosh, and I'm like,
it's awesome.
It's horrible.
Awesome.
I've been conditioned because it's like Roosh is so weird. But
Rush is a good Canadian band. Okay, we're actually not my favorite, to be honest, but people love them. So Rush gets to shine, taking out Dante and Briscoe here. He's so fast, Leo Rush.
Yeah, I like his and I think you mentioned too, his misdirection spots are really
good. Awesome. He's actually speedy, look right? legit.
Yeah,
like fast enough that you would be confused, right? ELP sends Rush through a ladder in the corner, and then I have torture rack neck breaker. I guess he hit that.
Is that the thing in the ladder? I think.
On the ladder, maybe.
That. They used some ladders that were pretty flimsy for
They did. Takeshita sends a ladder into Dante's head. Brainbuster to Dante on the side of a ladder.
That was pretty nice.
Briscoe spinning ladder head spot where he has it over his own head and spins.
Spot.
Actually, a couple of the impacts looked okay because sometimes I'm like, nobody really wants to take that, and it's obvious that they're just like.
Was this the match where it was like he was spinning crazy and everyone ducked out of the way or something, or is that a different match?
I don't think that was this one. Could be.
I don't even know.
Briscoe somersault off a chair in the ring onto a ladder on top of Takeshita through a table on the floor.
There's
is Takeshita okay? Is my note.
We thought he died after that
and when they're like he broke his arm, I'm like he could have.
I thought he's got his face smashed or something, but it was like so Takeshi's. There's the table at ringside, and it's like one of the legs is set up so it's like slanted, right?
Yeah.
Takeshi's leaning against that. Then Briscoe leans a ladder on Takeshi, so Takeshi's in between a slanted table and a flat ladder.
Yes.
And then Briscoe's got the chain ring, so he somersaults over, and Takeshi looks like he gets smashed by the ladder.
Absolutely.
So that was pretty crazy.
And the commentary were sort of questioning if he was okay.
Takeshi was out for a bit too, so I was worried because even though
I was like, where'd he go?
I knew Perry was winning this. I just wanted the hope that Takeshi was going to I was rooting for Takeshi the whole time, as I said I would. He's my boy.
So Perry sets up a ladder bridge in the corner only to leave it there and go climb a different ladder, which he just moved further away from where it was supposed to be. So I thought that was strange. Dante and ELP on a ladder that gets pushed over. Dante sells his ankle, and commentary, I don't know how I felt about this. They
were mentioning that a lot, like the PTSD kind of thing. I was like,
it's the same ankle, oh my god. And I'm like, no, come on now.
That's messed up.
But anyways, then my next note just says, Takeshita is okay! Exclamation mark.
That's what we wanted. That's all we need to know.
Briscoe sets up a ladder on the apron.
Which I thought, I was like, that's unnecessarily risky.
And Rush dives through the ladder onto Takeshita on the floor.
That's pretty cool.
Briscoe,
he's got a good suicide dive too.
He does.
Because you just the velocity comes at you. It's it looks impactful.
Briscoe off the apron ladder onto Perry, but not really.
Did not break the table.
Edge of the table into Briscoe's midsection. Table
ironically reminded me a lot of Edge's dive from the cage match.
Oh, except less dangerous, I guess.
Less destructive.
Where did ELP go? He has not done much, was a note there. Takeshita rips Dante off a ladder and power bombs him hard. Takeshita
through a corner ladder.
grabs Rush off a ladder and last rides him through a ladder.
Sorry, that's what I was
in the
thinking
corner.
of. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. ELP knocks Takeshita from a ladder and lands a big super kick. Takeshita elbow and knee to ELP on the
Which
apron.
looks crazy.
Huge leaping blue thunder bomb through 2 tables. Looked incredible.
The table break was amazing.
Fantastic.
The table's absolutely. If the
you
other
couldn't
one
plan it better.
If the other one didn't work, this one like worked too good. Like they got smashed. That was awesome. Takeshita looked killer there.
Takeshita climbs, but Briscoe hits him with a chair.
Which again, people were excited about.
Somewhat awkward J driller through a ladder leaning in the corner. It's like he wasn't quite going to get it.
The ladder was kind of broken already
right.
too. It was that one that Rush went through.
I don't think. Yeah, the ladder wasn't in perfect position, but they just went for it anyways. Briscoe climbs the ladder, but Perry hits him with another ladder before hitting him with some chair shots.
Like a million times.
Perry climbs, grabs the title, and is the new TNT champion after 17 minutes. Couple of lulls in this for me.
I loved it though. It was an awesome
The last
car crash.
chunk of it was pretty awesome. I thought.
Really enjoyed this.
Memorable spots for the right people. I thought got a lot of attention. Takeshita mostly. Car crash as expected. Fun to watch. I went 3 1/4 stars on this one.
I'll go 3 3/4.
Sorry?
Wait. No, I liked it a lot.
So go. Yeah, you can go.
Ooh, I'll go 4.
There you go. I think that's reasonable. It was a very fun match. Takeshita looked good.
It was one of the ones I was looking really forward to too. And I'm disappointed Takeshita didn't win, but he was a standout, so I'll take that.
Would have liked to see more ELP.
Yeah, that's true.
He
wasn't there a ton, but I do like me some ELP.
Then we move into our next women's match. It's the TBS Championship match with Stephanie Vaquer.
And the strong title, because that was made for Monet.
Who I've never really seen Vaquer.
I've literally never seen her before.
From Chile, right? Chilean, I believe it is.
I don't know. I think she's from CMLL.
Versus Mercedes Mone.
She had all her belts this time, did Vaquer.
Right. I thought Vaquer has a cool look, and it kind of contrasts.
She looked like Cora Jade, kind of.
She contrasts the Monet vibe really well, because it's like Monet's all flashy and
she's just kind of like dark.
Vaquer's like I'm just an ass kicker here to fight you. Holds, counters, pinning attempts early on. They exchange some fancy arm drag, like lucha arm drags that I've never.
Monet does the same one every time, though. It's like she really is attached to that arm drag.
I don't love them.
Well, I don't love hers.
Too much flash, not enough substance.
Vaquer's was better, and hers it's just kind of basic. It's like she just runs up and kind of does a spin, because Vaquer's at least doing some like jumping on the ropes or whatever. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's just like Monet, because she loves Eddie Guerrero so much, so she's just trying to do that. But it's like the same thing. I don't love hers every time, because sometimes the arm drags look cool, but hers just looks kind of weak to me every time.
It's not my favorite, because at the end of the day, it's an arm drag. No matter what comes before it, it's still an arm drag. Monet head scissor takedown on the floor, tornado DDT countered, or Monet was too far from the apron, and Monet has run into the apron. Soul food in the ropes and a springboard knee to Monet. Monet goes to the floor, and Vaquer hits a big crossbody off the top. Vaquer now in control with some ground and pound. 2 amigos going for 3, but a body scissors into a sweet-looking submission via Vaquer. It's that Have style or whatever that Angelico uses that I quite enjoy it, man. I think more people need to grab that style because it's interesting to me. Vaquer squeezes Monet's head in her knees and drives it into the mat, and the crowd... This is where things start to turn, man.
Because she was like kind of like...
The crowd agrees with us. Monet is not a baby.
Monet was getting heat. There's some guy in a... Was this where there's the guy in the Celtics jersey?
Yes, and then they start chanting... Yeah, he was very visible.
They started chanting like...
F the Celtics or
and
whatever.
And then the Red Sox. Which I thought was really funny.
So the crowd kind of turns. Vaquer looks really good and they're into her. And like we say, Monet is not a baby face the way she's portraying herself right now. And I think that's true. Nice anti-air drop kick by Monet after she stumbles a bit in the corner. Running double knees in the corner. Tornado DDT with a push off from the ropes. Vaquer DDT into a pinning predicament. Monet falls when she's not supposed to. Double clothesline, both are down. Crossface exchange, Vaquer powers up and the crowd is behind her. Boos for Monet, official now. Fireman's carry, gutbuster by Vaquer. F the Celtics chant here. 2 backstabbers by Monet to lots of boos. Vaquer boots up on a what were you going for?
Oh yeah, that was like Monet, like just
coming
like kind of like she just did like the thing where like you literally just jump in. It's just like it was literally just
jumping
like
into your boots.
Yeah, like that.
Nasty Vaquer dragon screw in the corner, running double knees for 2. Vaquer is really impressive.
So many people in Mexico do like the Andrade.
Yes,
corner.
It looks good.
It's good. It's just like so many people do it.
F the Red Sox chant now. Bridge up failure. Nigel makes excuses for. Don't remember.
Nope.
Moneymaker into the crossface, and it's over.
That I liked better because she still didn't fully get it, but at least it wasn't like the move is supposed to be the impact. You know, it's like a set. So that's like a better reason to do it.
It is. I agree. I think it should always be something preceding it.
Instead of the backstabber, like just to like differentiate from her WWE run, I feel like that's excusable.
And then one of the big surprises on this show, Britt Baker's music.
It was so
hits.
funny because like
She's
nothing was happening. I was like, and I just said it like the heat of the moment.
2 seconds before it
literally
happened.
I was like, Britt Baker comes back, and then her music is. I was like, oh
so
my
that
God.
was cool.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the match first, I guess. I really enjoyed this match, and largely because of Vaquer, who I thought looked pretty great. I
thought she looked pretty good. I think this is one of the matches where I was paying attention less, admittedly.
Yes.
But I thought it was really good for what I saw. And Vaquer is interesting. I like to see her again, and
Me too.
I'll pay attention more.
She dominated the majority of this, and like the live crowd, I found myself rooting for her and not the babyface.
Although I
champion.
feel like we were already there.
We were. We all know Monet has to be a heel. This proves it. The crowd is not accepting of her. I was really impressed.
And I think she could do really good. I'm not like it's not like because I hate her. I just think it like this. And I also agree that this run hasn't worked. And
no, not at all.
She can do good as a heel. Like she
can. And in ring, she's good, man.
In ring, she's still good. Yeah, like I don't think she's lost a step whatsoever.
I thought Vaquer was great. Monet was very good. I went 3 3/4 stars. Predictable outcome. A little bit of sloppiness from Monet in spots, maybe knocked a 1/4 star, but super impressed with Vaquer. That was one of my takeaways from this, is that this woman's awesome and we need to find more ways to include her and see her. Regarding Britt's return, really cool, but for me it's a little hard to forget she was basically doing nothing before she was gone, right? So she can be a main eventer for sure. She has been, and I'm sure she will be.
Rebuilding, and she was obviously dealing with a lot.
She was. That's not how she left, so they kind of need to rebuild her.
Which I think is also understandable because at least she's not gunning for Storm.
No.
So there is that.
And the crowd wants to cheer Baker and they want to boo Monet, so they need to do the right thing here. And I think coming off Dynamite, it looks like they are. I think
so.
Right? So I went 3 3/4. What did you think?
I'd agree with that.
I was close to 4, honestly. I really enjoyed this.
Actually, I've watched less. I'll go 3.5 just because I don't think I was as invested.
Right. Then we get the IWGP Heavyweight
World
Championship.
Heavyweight. The heavyweight title's dead, and so is the Intercontinental, and that makes me sad still.
Moxley taking on Naito.
That belt is still spray painted.
Really ugly belt was my first note. Ugly belt.
IMO.
I
hate it as much because
I dislike it.
I loathe that rectangle so much that this belt doesn't even bother me now.
Fair enough. Red Shoes here to ref this one.
Red Shoes. We love Red Shoes.
My note says, I am still surprisingly wide awake, and we are watching this live. That's a good sign for this show.
That is true. And also worth noting, because we haven't mentioned that, I love... I forget what his name is, but I love Japanese announcer guy.
Oh, he's great.
I love him so much.
They should always use him.
Always.
Mox is in control early. Naito gets dropped across the top rope. Naito then gets dropped onto the announce table. Mox follows up with some punches. We do notice JR is now on commentary for the last couple matches, I think. Naito spits on Moxley. We get a stalling Mox pile driver that looked good. Very slow pace is my note here. High angle backdrop driver by Mox. Lengthy struggle in the corner. Mox finally shoved off the top to the floor. Naito uses padding as a weapon, ? Remember, it was like the padding off the bear. It's like hitting him with a pool noodle. Like,
honestly,
that's not a weapon.
That feels like a perfectly apt comparison to me.
Right? I thought so.
I'm just like picturing it now, and it's like the same thing.
It is. Naito in control with basic stuff, and this is pretty boring. The crowd seems to agree.
It's pretty slow, yeah. I mean, I guess it's like the
spoiler.
The
I did not like this match. I thought this match sucked.
I didn't love it.
Mox powerbomb out of the corner. More Naito offense leads to Destino. Mox counters the next move.
Whoa. That's Operation Dragon, buddy.
That's right. Mox counters the next move into a paradigm shift. Both are down. Big lariat. Death Rider for 2. Red Shoes takes a chair from Moxley. Naito kind of counters a Death Rider. Commentary not sure either. I don't remember specifically.
I don't remember.
Some sort of modified DDT thing and a Destino. And Naito is the new champ. This man was a lull in this show for me. It had picked up pace from the first couple matches.
Moxley.
Me too.
Moxley's my boy. He'll always be my boy.
So
it was a bit of a downer.
I've said I'm not a Naito fan, and this did nothing to change that, right?
This didn't get me on Naito. Kind of like how I haven't seen a lot of Naito, so between him and Takagi, it's like I needed to see more of them, and Takagi looked really good.
I think he has a bit of a reputation like Nakamura, where if he's not into it and whatever, do you know what I mean? You're getting one of two versions of him.
Nakamura was like that. Or like that's a Lesnar thing too, for sure.
And so his offense seemed basic, which is fine if you create drama and have charisma and people say he does, and I don't see it.
It really wasn't in it for me.
Considering this was a main title match for a major company, disappointing.
And a title change.
I gave it 2 3/4 stars. And
agree.
It may come up
it
on
was
like
definitely my least favorite match.
a worst of list, considering how it's the IWGP title.
I don't think it'll like
second from the main event.
Nominate it, but I might like mention it.
It's not like it was bad, but it's one of those like
expectations and circumstances.
Yes,
okay,
it should
fair.
be better.
That's fair,
right? So yeah, disappointing, and then hoping not to be disappointed by the main event. I was not. It is Will Ospreay taking on Swerve Strickland, not Serve Strickland, as my notes say.
I've typed that a bunch of times. I'll never forget how many times I typed Hanagman.
Hanagman.
Yeah.
For the AEW Championship, Jack wants to know what's with the Hayabusa stuff. I guess he inspired Ospreay, and I think they do actually say that to us. So we get sort of the answer.
Oh, yeah. I actually did see something Ospreay talked about like in 2022. I think he took out Hayabusa's daughter to dinner. Oh. And no, he's married, you buffoon. But like asking permission to do that, 'cause I guess he's a big Hayabusa fan. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. And so that was cool. And I think he was saying like, yeah, Forbidden Door is the perfect time to do that. Even though Hayabusa was FMW, not any.
Yeah, I don't know much about him other than he's. I
know that he was like their big draw, and he got paralyzed off a lion salt.
Ooh, clearly an influential.
That was like the big
guy.
Yeah, and then FMW was like the Japanese. They inspired Heyman big time.
Yeah,
you know Heyman's carnies. Yeah. You know Onita.
Yeah,
Onita's like the biggest carny that ever carnied.
Big trash bag of a human.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I watched the Cultaholics video on FMW.
Yeah, he's not a good person.
Big time. Yeah.
So Jim Jones is here to ask whose house and introduce Swerve. Don't know who he is.
I was gonna say whose house? Who's Jim Jones?
He was there. Good for him.
He was there. Swerve. I didn't love his gear. Just the shorts over the tights. I was like, no.
I don't even remember.
It looked weird.
Very on brand for us. And think about it, and I don't even notice.
Yeah.
I really enjoy going into this. That like, yes, we both picked Swerve, and we should go over.
But I was
picks,
never 100% certain.
But either man could win, and that's a cool.
Yeah,
feeling.
we'll do the picks after, because I feel like it's more straightforward that way.
Feeling out each other to no advantage early on.
Like that.
Crazy flipping out of each other's stuff.
Oh my god!
The crowd loves it.
Didn't Swerve like kind of flip out something? I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was.
There's a lot of times where I'm going like, oh.
Swerve takes Ospreay down, but he just pops up before Swerve can even follow up here. Swerve gets booted off the apron. Ospreay follows up with his slingshot crossbody that always lands
like,
heavier.
He gets more like velocity or impact on it. Whatever he does is
somehow he drops harder than other. That doesn't make sense, but
he just comes at you faster. It's kind of like how Pac like gets some oomph on his shotgun dropkick or something.
Ospreay drive-by dropkick on the apron.
That was pretty good.
Swerve hits a smooth sequence after sweeping Ospreay's legs out, causing him to hit his back on the turnbuckle. Sorry, where was I here? Swerve neckbreaker. He holds onto it and hits another one in the ropes this time.
I like that.
Swerve has gained 10 pounds, we are told. I put talk to me when I was 14.
I said 14 pounds of muscle.
Which is a Cody Rhodes reference, if you don't know.
Which he referenced the promo to end racism
he
at
did.
The show last
he
night.
admitted on the show that he gave one of the worst promos in history of wrestling.
I disagree. That's one of my favorite promos ever.
It's circled back around into...
It genuinely, it's so bad. We still quote the baby to end racism.
Of course we do. Racism is over because of Cody Rhodes having a baby.
Racism is forever solved.
Correct.
Thanks to Liberty Rhodes.
That's right. Handspring corkscrew kick from Ospreay lands perfectly. Outside the ring for a bit, both on the barricade. Sweet leaping Hurricane Rana from Ospreay. Back in the ring for a phenomenal forearm. Swerve with a sudden leg capture backbreaker to stop the Ospreay onslaught. Swerve hip toss into an arm scissor. Swerve then with mocking kicks. Ospreay fires up for a strike exchange. Great sequence of near misses leads to an Ospreay powerbomb and a Styles clash for a 2 count.
I really like that combo he's adapted.
It's good.
It's kind of cool. I can guarantee you there are going to be some WWE tribals being like, he's just using the Styles clash like it's nothing, and people are kicking out of it mid-match, and he's like wasting it. I'm like...
Yeah, but it's fun to watch, so get over yourself. Yeah. Garcia watches from the stands. He did not get a very good seat for this show. He was way up where, like...
I mean, that's kind of like what we had, though, so
yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to follow.
But we don't work for the company and don't make...
That's true. But
several $100,000 a year.
Guess.
Swerve counters an Os Cutter with a Swerve stomp. It looked crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was really weird because it's like, so Ospreay's coming from like this one side springboard, but then Swerve had run up and springboard from the other side of the corner.
Yeah.
And so then he kind of like caught him sideways.
And it wasn't like perfect, but like, how could it be?
Exactly. And I don't mind that, 'cause it's like when someone struggles to like lift him up for something. It's kind of like that's never going to be perfect, but he got enough of it.
They took a big swing here. I liked it. Swerve misses a move, but flips off the apron and lands on his feet.
It's that thing he always does, where
Yeah,
he kind of
looks awesome.
it's just
Both up top, huge avalanche angle slam from Swerve here.
that was sweet.
Back heel kick nails Swerve on the apron, but Swerve dodges the Os Cutter to follow.
A lot of the heel kicks from Ospreay just smushed him in the face.
Ospreay lands hard on the floor. Swerve sets up for the stomp, but Ospreay rolls. He's not safe there. Swerve hits a crazy Swerve stomp into the announce table.
Oh, it looked
and
crazy.
It doesn't
it
give
did not
an inch.
budge. It did not budge.
It looked amazing. My favorite spot of this match, probably.
It was awesome.
Looked crazy. Pile driver on the barricade.
And which he did in the Texas Death against Hangman.
You may have to correct me. I called it an inverted impaler because I didn't know what to call it from Swerve for a near fall.
That's valid.
Avalanche.
I do actually remember what you're talking about, strangely enough.
Avalanche Os Cutter, regular Os Cutter for a near fall. So many Os Cutter attempts happening at this point.
Well, like, I'd say the Avalanche Cutter was just like a cutter because, like, Os Cutter is the springboard, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, same difference.
Hidden blade partially blocked. 2 more of the heel kicks. Swerve counters an Os Cutter into a pinning predicament. Another Os Cutter. Stormbreaker for a near fall.
I love Stormbreaker.
Here's where we get the tease of the Tiger Driver, but he doesn't follow through and headbutts Swerve instead. Calls for the Tiger Driver now. Swerve counters it into a roll-up for 2, and then drills his own hidden blade. Looked good.
Yeah, he smushed that.
But the stomp misses. Swerve ducks the hidden blade, and the referee gets hit. Swerve hits a nice Poison Rana, followed by an immediate hidden blade, but there is no ref to make the call. So Callis gives Ospreay, so Callis is there, obviously.
Callis has arrived.
Hands Ospreay a screwdriver, and sort of Ospreay contemplating is conflicted about whether he's going to use it or not. Nana shoves Callis to the floor. Callis sells it like he's been hit with a cannonball,
which
basically.
I like because then that gets Ospreay, obviously, too.
Yeah.
It works for Callis.
Ospreay grabs Nana, threatens to stab him briefly here. Cooler heads prevail. Ospreay walks into a house call in the ring. Swerve stomp. A new ref comes in, but it's not over. That's a near fall there. Swerve snaps Ospreay's arm with his leg, and another house call, still a 2 count as Ospreay just will not stay down. Ospreay staggered. Swerve catches an exhausted hidden blade attempt, but then it's a third house call.
Kills him.
JML driver or whatever it's called now.
Big pressure.
And it is over. Did you say 27?
27 minutes.
27 minutes. Swerve shows respect to Ospreay and even like kisses him on the head after the match. This ended up being fantastic.
There were a couple times where I don't think you mentioned, but like Swerve ducked the hidden blade, but doing like a Matrix kind of dodge, which was crazy looking too.
Match of the show, which is what you want your main event title match to be.
It was awesome. I'll put that on my short list.
I thought the final half of this was exceptional. We predicted the result pretty perfectly, but there was still a chance that Ospreay could win, and that gets me into it even more.
There was every chance that Ospreay could have won, and like honestly, there were a couple times where I thought he had even like when there were a couple times I thought like got the Swerve. The house call and the Swerve stomp, I thought it was over, and Ospreay stayed a little longer, so that made me think even more, oh, maybe Ospreay's going to win it.
Right. Ospreay just continues to have an incredible run of fantastic matches. Swerve, as we talked about earlier, picks up a signature win over the best wrestler in the world.
And it kind of breaks the barrier of Ospreay losing now, because he hasn't lost in AEW.
So they dished out so much punishment, had so many great near falls along the way. The crowd rebounded for this after the sort of Moxley dud before it. I thought highly entertaining. The involvement of Callis wasn't my favorite, but it's there to protect Ospreay a little bit, so it didn't bother me.
And it kind of furthers him finally getting away from that,
right.
So that's okay.
So, awesome main event. Hard. I did prefer it over the Danielson Shingo match. I gave it 4.5 as well, but liked it better. So almost 4 3/4 for me. I thought this was terrific.
Yeah,
and
I'll go 4.5.
How is Ospreay not the wrestler of the year?
Yeah, I feel like
it's like I don't know what.
Halfway through, his resume is incredible. He's already got a belt. He's had like probably the 2 best matches of the year, or actually my 3 favorite matches of the year are probably this one, Danielson, and the Takeshita match.
Every match is amazing. Every matchup is exciting.
His promo work is impeccable.
Great.
His character work.
He would have to get injured for the rest of the year, probably,
to not win it. Yeah, pretty much.
So
I would dare anyone to try.
Fantastic main event. Did you go higher than 4.5?
No, I'll agree with that because it's not quite Ospreay Omega still.
Right.
Because that match is everything to me.
Correct. I didn't do my math, so I'm gonna have to go by feel on this one. Sometimes I go science, and sometimes I go art on my ratings of pay-per-views. Yeah. This one will be an art one. So. Not an A-lister for sure, because there were some things I didn't love.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect, but I think like overall it might have been the best Forbidden Door. I don't know.
I am going to...
Because the highs are pretty good.
I'm going to give it a B+.
I think so, yeah. Because I think Hechicero and MJF letting us down holds it back. The IWGP title match definitely holds us back. And I think the Jericho match holds us back.
Right.
Honestly, if you had put the Lucha Bros match here instead of the
Even
Jericho
the Elite
match, then like
Acclaimed stuff was...
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I don't mind that because at least it's like furthering a better story and like Okada Tanahashi is something. Right?
And if they had trimmed the fat a little bit here, they don't need all these matches.
I would have taken off the Jericho match at least and handed more time to the main event.
Mm-hmm. So a B+ show, still really entertaining. I was wide awake for the whole thing.
It verges on an A-, but it gets held back by a few things for sure.
Paid for it and did not regret it again, as always. So
and I think I'm really glad they leaned into like CMLL and Stardom, like any of New Japan's affiliates to kind of help bolster things because New Japan's in a bit of a low right now.
And my takeaways were obviously Britt Baker's back. The crowd is hyped for that. Vaquer is awesome.
We want Takeshita.
Takeshita is what people want and possibly as a babyface. And Swerve got a solidifying win that he needed.
Yeah, because his title reign did start off shaky, right? Because like he had... I mean, I think like before this, the best thing he didn't... I really liked the match with Roddy that he had.
The problem was the face turn. The Swerve face is not...
Unless you walk the line, in which he kind of has been.
The last 3 weeks, he's getting back to more of that edge, which is helping. And then this match solidifies things.
Yeah, for sure.
So very good show. All right, we'll shift gears into our regularly scheduled stuff, and that is taking a look at the follow-up from Forbidden Door, and that is this Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite.